Hello, this is Analytical Chick. So, as you all know, I am in New York City, so I wanted to cover very quickly, the New York City ballot. So, it's 4 pages, but it's like 2 pages. So, how it's gonna come is, it's gonna come folded in half. There's a front and a back, and so basically you're gonna unfold it, and then also you're gonna be able to flip it back and forth and see. So there's 4 pages total. The first page is going to be like your major elections. The second page is going to be more local elections. Guys, I cannot emphasize this enough. You need to know things like what your congressional district is and who's running for it. You don't want to be sitting at the polls trying to Google this. In fact, I found a website. I'm going to try to link it in the description where you could put in your address and it'll tell you who will be the options for you to potentially vote for. But, so like here in New York City, you want to look up, you want to know who's running for senator. I hope you already know that. So you have senator in New York, you have governor in New York. So for senator, I will be voting for Chelle Farley instead of Kirsten Gillibrand, of course, because I'm not going to vote for the baby murderer. And then you have Larry Sharpe is who I'm going to be voting for governor, because he's awesome. And then you'll have state senator and assembler. Those are some of the local elections that should be on your ballot if you're in New York State. We're also going to have attorney general, I think, and some judges, But anyway, also, there's 3 initiatives. I think they're on maybe page 4 or page 3. I think they're going to be on the very last page. They have an initiative going on in New York City calling like hashtag flip your ballot. Nicole Malliotakis, who ran against de Blasio for mayor, and she's an assembler. She's running for re-election for her assembly district. She did a video on Flip the Ballot discussing the 3 propositions to vote for. She recommended voting no for the first 2, and she was undecided on the third. If you are in, I think it's just New York City, I personally am going to vote no for all 3. So, the third one that the other Nicole, was, undecided on there's a volunteer position, like community board member or something like that. And they get appointed, and the initiative is to have term limits. And I think there should be term limits, because I think people being in office too long, even if they're not getting paid, they start to develop relationships, and that's when the corruption happens, because they can start to get stuff in place to, do a lot of things that you don't want happening. So anyway, open up the ballot, flip it back and forth. Oh, and then, very, very important, I don't know about other states and other areas, but in New York City, because this is going to be a ballot that you open up and flip it over, 4 pages, but they're attached. They're going to come attached with a preparation. It is the voter's responsibility to separate the preparation. I would say do it very carefully. And then, because you don't want to have, the quote-unquote hanging chads. So, and then you want to it will be the voter's responsibility to separate that. And then you put it through the machine after. So it's a paper ballot, but it's a machine too. I think that's all it wanted. Oh, also another thing that I did want to cover, is that no one should be instructing you how to vote. So I actually saw that when I voted for president in 2016, and I specifically asked, we had a meeting today with a site coordinator for a poll, and I asked him about that, and he was like, yeah, what you're explaining to me, what happened to you, they're not allowed to do that. They're not allowed to, like, point and say, like, oh, you're a registered Democrat, here, vote Democrat. They're not supposed to, like, encourage you how to vote. They're supposed to just basically hand you the ballot. They're supposed to put it in a quote-unquote privacy sleeve. It's, like, just a folder, usually. There should be instructions. We don't know if the instructions are going to be put in the privacy folder with your ballot, or if the instructions are going to be placed into those little, like, cubicles that they put up for voting. But either way, you should have some kind of instructions, and just be aware that some candidates are going to be on the ballot under multiple parties, so you only vote for them under one party. If you try to vote for them under multiple parties, I think it voids the whole vote. So just a heads up there. And yeah, I think that's it for New York. And people in other areas may run into similar stuff. All right, happy voting. Red wave.
Oh, well, people need to be awake, and they need to be aware. They need to stand up against the stuff. Oh, well, people need to be awake. People need to be awake, and they need to be aware. They need to stand up against the stuff. Oh, well, and it's so politically engaged.
And it's so politically engaged.